Alberto Del Rio! Welcome back to Folk Wrestling Triple A. Right, Triple H, Triple A. Triple A has signed a bunch of jobbers for Triple A. We are going to go through the list. Now, over on Twitter, Wrestling Purists revealed the amount of Triple A, double A, they've already signed with WWE. So, if you've been living under a rock, or I say living under a rock, it's not the biggest news in the world. Hell, it's Diddy news, but it did get announced. I think was it WrestleMania Night 1? I think it was Night 1. But yeah, so WWE, they've bought AAA, which means they've signed up quite a lot of wrestlers from that promotion. And according to Ernesto Ocampo, Amigo Z, now this guy must be a journalist or something for AAA or Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre. His description on Twitter is Periodista en la revista Super Luchas desde 1998, editor in jefe desde 2003. Whatever that means, alright? But we're going to go through the list, right? And as the thumbnail suggests, it's nothing more than a complete bunch of jobbers, right? And it's a waste. It's actually a waste of time, right? It is a true waste of time signing people for AAA, right? And there's going to be a lot of release people recently that I think are going to be, completely and utterly pissed off. Like, you look at Braun Strowman, he's going to be wondering, right? Because he's obviously the big, like, male casualty. There is a lot of female wrestlers that get released, but, I guess a lot of them will actually not be too happy either. They'll feel like, well, they've been hard done by, and judging by the reaction of it, they've been accused of being lazy, etc., etc., etc. They have been rather pissed off regarding some of the reports. I mean, we've seen Meltzer yesterday. Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan have responded to that. But speaking of lazy, alright, Triple A, let's actually just get this one straight out there. So, obviously, Parka, who used to wrestle in WCW, he sadly died about 5 years ago, right? Well, Triple A created their own Parka, and he's signed with WWE. So a guy, right, pretending to be Parka is set to join WWE. This would be like someone pretending to be the Ultimate Warrior, or like Macho Man Randy Savage, Scott Hall, Chris Benoit even, and coming back in modern WWE. Now, obviously, yeah, Lucha Libre, it works a wee bit more because they can put a mask on, right? But to me, this is just absolutely insane that a guy has died and AAA has come up with this grand idea of putting a mask on a guy and just calling him La Parka. Like, is that no crazy? And I've seen a lot of people be like, whoa, hold on. How are they signing La Parka? Because La Parka died 5 years ago. Well, there you have it, folks. That's how they're signing La Parka. Because because they just put some other guy in a mask. To me, it's disrespectful, right? And I'm not going to sit here and greet too much about it, but it's like, would WWE do that when Ray sadly, inevitably passes away like the rest of us? No, it wouldn't be right, and I don't think it is right. But Triple A, I mean, they're trying. I mean, like honestly, like the amount of people you could pretend that you've got on your roster, and they went with La Parka. Incredible, but yeah, La Parka. He is the first name because I thought that's definitely the most intriguing. Out the how many is there? 8. Now, second on the list, Alberto Del Rio. He is what I believe 47 years of age. Twitter is greeting, oh, how are they bringing back Alberto Del Rio and they've released Jakora Jackson? Right, let's just be honest about Del Rio, right? I'm not a big fan of Del Rio. I think he's a boring bastard. But see when it came to his vignettes back in like 2010, early 2011, that kind of period, right? How great with those wee vignettes. He was in like the most standard house ever, right? It was like he was in this kitchen, right? That was like in between a normal kitchen and open plan. It had like one of those fridges that, I mean, most people have got these fridges where it had like, like an ice dispenser and a water dispenser, but they were trying to portray that Del Rio was in this like multi-million-dollar house, and it's like it was probably worth about 4 pesos, they say. You know what I mean? It wasn't worth an awful lot. But looking back, I think those vignettes are brilliant. It was literally, right, folks, the generic American house. But they were trying to portray this like Mexican billionaire coming in. He's got money, he drives sports cars, he does this. I'm surprised that he didn't rock up to the arena in a Reliant Robin, for Christ's sake. But yeah, Del Rio's back. You know, we're talking about a former WWE, world heavyweight champion, a Rumble winner, matches at Mania. Um, let's not pretend that Alberto Del Rio, right, is an absolute jobber. He's not. Now in 2025 is his best years behind him. Yes, but if there's one signing from AAA that makes sense, it's Alberto Del Rio. The guy's at the AAA. He's the AAA world champion, right? He's the most recognizable name that they could get from the company. Maybe outside La Parka, but here La Parka's dead, so I think using him is a bit. It's almost cheating. But why are people greeting about this? But now let's get into the absolute jobbers, right? Hijo de Dr. Wagner, Hijo del Vikingo, or whatever. Then we've got La Hedra, Lady Flammer, Lady Marafia, and Nino Hamburger Giza. So, Nino Hamburger Giza just sounds like some form of like Mexican hamburger. And then there, I mean, honestly, like, well, what are we doing here? Nino Hamburger Giza, Lady Marafia, Lady Flammer, La Hedra, Hijo del Finkigo, and Hijo de Wagner. Spanish is a wee bit rusty. Well, I say rusty, it's non existent to be honest, but it's like, what are those? I mean, let's just throw La Parka in there. So, I'm sorry that La Parka passed away 5 years ago, but what are they doing pretending this other guy's La Parka, man? Like, to me, that is a bit distasteful. And it's like, this company's going to be, WWE's going to be using them. Are they seriously going to pretend um, that this is, is La Parka, right? La Parka going to be on WWE television? And they're actually going to be like, oh, this is, La Parka for WCW. And you know, he's been reborn. How are they going to address this? Because let's be honest, La Parka for WCW is obviously well bigger than any shitey fucking jobber that's in this company. So honestly, folks, I'm kind of baffled by this decision. The amount of jobbers that are on this list, it's a complete waste of time. I mean, Del Rio makes a bit of sense because he was previously in WWE, and you might be able to get a couple of decent matches out of him. But for the most part, yeah, absolute jobbers to the highest degree. So yeah, your thoughts down below. Just pissing money in the wind, and I think a lot of the released people can rightfully feel aggrieved by this.